Yeah, may I, if I might, you said that I have to circumvent it. Wait a minute, there's something, it's like saying, you know...
The story of your town is the story of America. And America, well, America is progress with liberty and democracy and peace. These are the blessings of peace and industry that belong to all of us and to our children and our children's children. And we should guard them and thank God for them, for America, every day we live.
Well, when the president does it, that means that it is not illegal.
I find it unacceptable that John Campbell will ask for your vote, but he is not willing to stand before you and to be held accountable.
I don't know what that means about democracy. I thought you had to speak to the people and earn their respect and their vote. I hope somebody calls up John Campbell and asks what he stands for. I don't know what he stands for.
Yeah, urban runoff issues. I'll be working a lot on various things that we can do, I believe, in funding things, since I'm a coastal district, to deal with some of the urban runoff.
And now we must run off.
The Republican establishment in Washington, D.C. is getting ready to welcome John Campbell to town. With Vice President Dick Cheney, House Speaker Denny Hastert, Majority Whip Boyd.
John Campbell is holding hands right now, metaphorically speaking, with Dick Cheney. And Dick Cheney is lobbying to allow America to torture civilians in a time of war. Dick Cheney thinks it's okay. He wants Congress, he wants Senate to allow us.
May I, if I might, you said that I have to circumvent it. Wait a minute, there's something, it's like saying, you know, you're breaking the law. I'm not. See, that's what you got to understand. I am upholding my duty and at the same time doing so under the law and with the Constitution behind me. That's just very important for you to understand. Secondly, the FISA law was written in 1978.
Listen to George Bush, all right? He's going around now with his I'm not a crook campaign.
I can't tell you how many people said to me, well, it's a once-in-a-generation opening. Well, you know, I'm not sure it's quite that long, but because of that, there's a lot of focus whenever one opens up. There's one opening now in a special election, the former Duke Cunningham seat in San Diego, and my gosh, there's just so much focus about that.
We're having a discussion in 2006. It's a different world. And FISA is still an important tool.
We got to stop it right there. We got to stop it right there. The FISA law was written in 1978. We're having this conversation in 2006. Listen to this man. Tell me he is not lying. Lying to the American public.
The way the president went about lying our way into Iraq, lying to the American people about the non-existent weapons of mass destruction, about the non-existent nuclear weapons, what happened to Valerie Plame and to her husband, and the risk to her life, because her husband was bold enough to say there are no nuclear weapons in Iraq, is unconscionable. It's as if Cheney and Bush have no conscience at this point.
A lot of folks think it would be fun to destroy all that the factory stands for. But you see, that factory made your town, and when you're working against that factory, you're working against your own best interests.
Gee, Gramps, I never thought of it that way before.
Why?
I believe we have been and are the beacon of liberty around the world. That is what we have stood for most of the last century, and what we stand for in this century. And I think the policies that we are following are the right ones to expand.
Did you ever see some...
FISA is still an important tool. It's an important tool, and we still use that tool. But also, I said, look, is it possible to conduct this program under the old law? And people said, well,
something made very difficult by structural and legal impediments that prevented the collection and sharing of information by our law enforcement and intelligence agencies. So the attacks came. A band of vicious terrorists tried to decapitate our government.
It doesn't work in order to be able to do the job we expect us to do. And so that's why I made the decision I made. And, you know, kind of circumventing is a loaded word, and I refuse to accept it because I believe what I'm doing is legally right.
I want to just call your attention to what he said. I asked people if we could spy on Americans under the FISA law, and they said no, it didn't work. And so I had to not circumvent. No, that not. I had to more like go sort of to the side and go around. I had to. Okay, what I did was I didn't circumvent it. Okay, I basically turned myself invisible, and then also I had that power like in Ghost. Did you see Ghost? That's when I actually let the law just pass through me, like in Ghost, like who's that? Patrick Swayze. So I made it pass through me. So I did not circumvent it. Can we talk about Bill Clinton? Can we talk about Bill Clinton? Feels it is right. It is his right as president to spy on you without any checks on that power.